I saw one of the manufacturers kind of mention that no one really has critical mass in the managed, for lack of a term, managed security world. There's a lot of parts, a lot of moving parts. Putting your hat on, how do you see this playing out over the next few years and becoming, is it going to consolidate, or are we going to keep having lots of different approaches, or what do you see happening?
Whew. I think we'll continue to see different approaches and then eventually likely a consolidation. What I see in the market is this, is there's organizations that have made an investment, a heavy investment into EDR, and there are competitors that do that well. Mm-hmm. But when you look at what's happened with identity, like compromise of credentials, the rise of business email compromise and that particular fraud, you really need an answer to both. You can't just say, I'm only going to monitor the endpoint, because the reality is there are so many different classes of attacks happening. You talked about it. You said, pen tests or red teams will just break into SaaS applications because I'm not touching EDR. So you have to be able to do that. There are still really big parts of the market that want more of a managed SIEM model. Like, okay, I don't want you to connect with my technology. I want you to just like log into my technology and take care of it that way as well. Where I'm hoping we take our organization is continuing the model we have of integrating with the technology, but further investment to make it obvious in terms of what's happening in the underlying technology as well. Because right now we have a platform and a portal, and you log into that. Where I'm hoping we take the organization is like being more representative downstream. Basically, you can log into an appliance and know exactly what Expel did with a given alert, rather than having to log directly into our platform itself. Hopefully that resonates. So bottom line, I think there's multiple segments of the market that understand EDR and identity is really big. And I still think there's big parts of the market that still think I can do all of that out of a traditional based SIEM. And longer term, what I think is we'll probably have a consolidation.
Sure. It seems like it's an indirect. You watch at different parts of the industry, and they've consolidated somewhat quick. But this is a much more difficult piece to consolidate.
Yeah, and we work with a lot of cloud first companies, and these are startup companies that were born in AWS or GCP, and their use cases. We want you to monitor cloud infrastructure. Okay, I don't have a Windows Active Directory domain. I've got laptops and maybe with an EDR. And so that's really a big part of the segment we serve. But then we have, those more traditional enterprises where it's like, and there's my QRadar, right? And there's my Splunk enterprise security. And so it's our advantage, I'll be candid, our advantage is we get to serve both of those types of markets. So it really pushes us in unique directions to be able to respond accordingly. But there are certainly different segments in the market. And I think a lot of it has to do with sometimes where that business is in their journey. Like if it's a new startup, they're going to be in AWS, GCP, they're going to have some Mac laptops. But if you're dealing with large enterprises, they're still going to have that SIEM, and they want you to drive value out of that as well. Hopefully that resonates.